So,
What do you guys want to know?
well, first of all, just kind of tell me about yourself.
Myself?
Yeah, your name, your age.
My name is Abe Virgil Christensen,
Okay. How old are you?
and I'm 102 years old.
Okay. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No brothers and sisters. I'm it.
You're it, only child. Okay.
And I was born in the damn dust storms,
Okay.
and went through the dust storms in the 30s. I started off to college, and my mother patted me on the shoulder and says, "We can't go you to college." I says, "Why?" Well, my dad was messing with the grain exchange, and he lost everything he had.
Right.
So I had to go to work. And Dad had $75 on his that we'd saved up. So we landed in Hutchinson, Kansas. And about a month before we left up there, I had gotten a job down here at Salina in exchange for 10 days for another guy who took his place. So I was walking the streets there, and I knew that the family couldn't live down there without getting some money. Hell, you gotta have something to live on, you know. $75 ain't go very damn far. So I walked upstairs in that building, and I had a guy there at the telegraph. They had telegraphs in, bing, 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 you know. And he says, "We need a guy here in the office to put the numbers of the bushels of wheat up on the board." I says, "By God, can I get these and make an application?" I did. I got it. $90 a month. Now that was top pay in them days. And I gave $60 a month to my mother. It dawned on me, by God, I had to have some better education if I was going to stay in this job. And so I went down to about a half a block from there with a secretarial school. And I had learned how to type and all that. And so I enrolled there. And about 2 months later, it dawned on me, well, by God, I can't keep my family going, my mother and dad going, and this goddamn school too. Something's got to give. So I quit the school. And about 15 days later, here comes one little secretary girl up. And she says, "You left the school paying them, left them, owing them $5. I reached down in my pocket, and sure enough, I had a quarter down there. I says, "Well, this is all I've got right now." And she grabbed that goddamn quarter and wrote me a ticket out. She said, "I'll be back in 15 days. And she left. The boss says, "Well, who is that good-looking girl?" I says, "I don't know who she was, but I says, by God, I'm going to find out." So next time she came up, I had a quarter in my pocket. Well, it took about $1.50 before I finally got a date with her. And you know what? That's the girl I married. Of course, after I got married, Army took me. I had a high number. If I'd have been 30 days older, the Army couldn't have got me, or if I'd have had a lower number. Damn it, I was just at the top. So that's why I am the oldest veteran in this area right now, the Salina area. And that takes a big territory. We're up to the Nebraska line and around. But I'm the oldest. I was overseas for 3 years.
Where all have you been overseas?
3 years overseas. I didn't think I was ever going to get back home.
Yeah.
By that time, my boy was 2.5 years old.
How many kids do you have?
Huh?
How many kids do you have?
I had two. a boy. I have a boy and a girl, and they have both done real well. I had to give some of them a little education once in a while, but
What kind of jobs were you and your friends doing to make money
Well,
for their families at that time?
I was in the exchange, you know.
Right.
But then after that, well, I went to work for myself up there on the farm. But there was no money in the country. It was just hell. It was hard up as hell. Gasoline was 10 cents a gallon. 10 cents a gallon for gasoline. Hamburger was a quarter. You go to a show for 35 cents. Well, you could take a girl out for $1 and really take her to the restaurant and get her a hamburger and 10 cents for gasoline, and you just had a night out. Yeah, now what? You blow a $20 bill and not even think about it.
What did you and your family?
Huh?
What kind of stuff did you and your family growing up do for fun? What kind of stuff did you used to do, like growing up for fun?
What they do?
What did you used to do for fun?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I had was a Shetland pony.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good at raising horses. I raised horses, and I could take a black snake and make it pop just like a firecracker. And I broke them horses and sold them. You know what? Paid me good money, but my dad grabbed the money before I got a hold of it.
Did you grow up going to church at all?
Huh?
Did you grow up going to church at all? Did you go to church growing up?
Church?
Yeah. Did you go growing up?
Yeah, I went to church, a Lutheran church. That little Lutheran church there in Denmark, Kansas, they called it, was built by my ancestors, and it's been a church like that ever since. And so one day my wife and I decided we could do something for that church. So we tried to get it on the historical.
Like a preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it passed. Now then, at that time, there was only 3 churches in the state of Kansas that was on the historical record. That little Denmark church was one of them. I have to be built by your ancestors and stayed the same way, not anything different, and stayed as a church for over 100 years. That church was on the record. What's the other 2? You don't know?
No. I'm asking you.
Well, the Cathedral of the Plains out at Victoria. There's a big, big church at Victoria, Kansas. That's on there. And there's a church down on the reservation down at Fort Riley that's on the same record. There's 3 churches at that time. Maybe there's more now, I don't know. But it's pretty hard to find a church that was built by the original settlers and never changed. So that's the one I belonged to until a few years ago I got to thinking about the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And maybe these damn religions ain't all what they're cracked up to be. Huh?
Yeah.
And that's what we're fighting right now, is religion. A lot of it is religion.
Yeah. Over in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were a teenager, who was the president?
What?
When you were a teenager, who was the president?
When I was a teenager, Woodrow Wilson.
Wilson.
And then, of course, after him we came Hoover.
Hoover.
Hoover came in next. And then after him, we got Franklin Roosevelt, and then, of course, we had the war.
And then, what was technology like when you were younger?
Technology,
Yeah.
well, it was just starting. We didn't have electric lights out there in the country. We didn't have running water. We had a outside toilet, and that was about it. Roads were all mud. They didn't have any gravel roads, you know. And we was 55 miles from Salina,
Yeah.
the nearest hospital. Horse and buggy take you 2 days to get down here.
Do you have any heroes growing up?
Huh?
Did you have any heroes growing up? Like people you looked up to?
Any girls?
Heroes, people you look up to.
Any what?
Did you have any heroes or anybody like that you looked up to growing up? Like who did you look up to?
Oh, looked up to?
Yeah, like a role model.
Oh no, I didn't.
No.
With nobody around there. Petted the horse a little bit.
Do you have any advice for
Any what?
Do you have any advice for people of my generation, kind of moving forward? Any advice for people our age moving forward, kind of just
Like-
going through life?
What would you tell us? Like what advice would you give
Any
us?
advice?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I want you to start smoking cigarettes all the time. And then when you get married, you're smoking about 2 packs, see. And then you have a kid in the college, and you get sick, your damn lungs give out for you, and you don't have any insurance, and your wife has to go to work, in about 30 days you're dead.
So don't smoke.
You die when you're about 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you leave them goddamn cigarettes alone.
Yeah.
My wife had
My grandpa used to smoke.
My
and-
wife had a daughter. She was the head of the bookkeeper out of Thor Industries down here. Had a damn good job. She was getting about $75,000 a year. She was smoking one cigarette after the other, and she was even getting a kid off every bus they made. You know what? Finally, her lungs gave out just like that. She landed in the hospital with oxygen of her nose. She laid there for 30 days, and then she died. 55 years old. Smarter than hell. She could have been the head of that company if she'd have stayed with her. Them damn cigarettes in the drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
And alcohol is just as bad. You guys get started on that shit and you can't quit.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is stay up all night long and then go to work the next day. You know, that's really nice for your body to underdo something like that. That really puts a pep in you.